BizQuik podcast hits on the struggles and advantages of being an entrepreneur. It's for anyone who's made the commitment to burn the boats and not look back. Are you a busy entrepreneur or small business owner trying to do it all? Then this podcast is for you. Corey and Julie will take you through the details of building a strong business. Hit the subscribe button and gear up for another episode of BizQuik Podcast.
Hey, welcome to BizQuik. I'm Julie.
And I'm Corey.
And on today's episode, we have Stacy Traxler. That's right. You recognize that last name. It's the same as mine. Stacy is a business partner with Corey and I on a new business that we launched, probably like middle of the summer?
Sure.
We went into beta the middle of the summer, and then we officially launched it in October. But the business is called Certivium. And yes, I know, weird name. Stacy is a partner in that business with us, and actually Certivium offers services. Stacy's out of Denver, Colorado.
And for anybody out there wondering, it is not a coincidence that her last name is Traxler. Nepotism is alive and well here at SB Pace. Don't worry.
It really is. Well, I really thought to myself, when you're starting a business, the thing that's important is you're like, who do I trust to work with? Who would I want to work with?
And most importantly, who don't I have to pay right now?
Well, there's that too. Yes. But Stacy is, she's like-minded like we are. She thinks like we do. She's really good at here's what we want to do and then just figuring out how to get there, which works really well for us. She'll try just about anything. She's a very hard worker. She is also the mother to my two favorite tiny humans. They're not tiny anymore, are they? They're just little humans now at this point.
Correct.
Yeah. But so she is, Stacy's married to my brother, Mark, who you're going to hear soon.
Yeah, we'll have him on for the Thanksgiving episode. Actually, this is probably going to air after that. So.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Well, so you just heard Mark then.
Yeah, let's go with that.
On the brothers episode, because Jesse's going to join us for that one too.
Is he?
Yeah, I invited him.
Oh, okay.
Is that weird?
No.
So anyway, but before we bring Stacy on, what we really wanted to talk about today was, what I want to talk about with Corey is that whole concept of, man, people overcharge for social media marketing. And I'm sure we're going to get some haters on this. Any company that does it and listens to our podcast is probably not going to be happy with us. But here's the deal. We have a number of clients who needed social media management. And so I'm like, all right, we got a lot of partners. We know a lot of really good people. So I started reaching out and asking people, like, what's your packages look like? That sounds dirty. I don't mean it like that.
Yes.
And I, in some instances, was appalled at what people were providing and at the price point they were providing it at. It was ridiculous to me. So in the same vein that we started Certivium for customer service, which was what our first service was that we rolled out with it, we're like, I think it's time to announce our second service, which is social media management.
Yeah, before we even got one rolling, we're already on number 2. That's what we do here at SBPiz. But yeah, I was surprised as well, especially when we compared what the services were that were being offered and what we were offering, because we even trimmed back what we initially were going to do, because like we do with most things, we offer way too much at too low of a price. But we trimmed back what some of the offerings were and the amount of work that we were going to do, and we're still above and beyond what a lot of companies do. And so because you did most of the research, I didn't really do any of the research, and I am still kind of skeptical. Like I'm really gonna to wonder what is driving that cost. Like, are we in fact just like undercharging for our services? Like we were not making as much money as we should, or whatever, or like are the companies just putting a premium on that because they can, because it's something that people don't want to do. I mean, like if you just think of something like, for me, for example, I don't have social media, hate social media. I will gladly pay a premium to somebody to do that for me, so I don't ever have to touch it. So I wonder if that's the case, or the other thing is that with us, we're a very small company. We're now a company of 3 in Certivium. And
well, 4. Don't forget Francis.
Yeah. Hi, Francis. But we're a small company, and so we don't really have a big infrastructure to support. So that could be the other reason, is that we don't have, this big staff. We don't have an office building or, an office at all. So, maybe it's just because our overhead's so low is that we can do this. And it's just, I think that might be a product of, let's say, the pandemic, because there was no reason for us to ever get an office. We can do everything remotely. I don't know. I'm done talking for now.
Well, I'll be curious to see, how things pan out. But I wonder if, when people are launching a new service or whether they're launching this particular service, if they're doing a lot of, market research and competitive analysis to see what's out there and then pricing themselves accordingly, right? Because we both know you shouldn't compete on price. That shouldn't be where you're competing. And so while our price is fantastic, that's not really what we're competing on in terms of how we are offering the service and what we're doing. So I feel like we've got a lot of unique features and benefits to our social media management. But in general, I wonder if people price theirs looking at how everyone else is priced and think, oh, this is right in the range of what people are paying.
Well, and that's one thing that I feel like everybody gets a little weary when you find a deal that seems to be too good, because then you just think the quality is probably crap. If something normally costs $10 and then you find somebody selling it for $5, it's like, well, I got a deal, but is this going to break in a week? Like,
right.
So that's always just kind of like that fine line that everybody kind of has to walk when you're pricing yourself, because we're not competing on price. And for businesses who aren't competing on price, people still compare your prices. And so you still have to consider what your price is compared to other people, other businesses, because people they're going to do that regardless. So you want to make sure that you're in a place that makes the most sense for your customer base, for you, obviously. And then, like, we could probably charge less, but that wouldn't make sense at all, across the board, because then it would definitely look like this is just cheap service.
Right. Yeah, that's a really good point. So, all right. Well, I'm excited to bring Stacy on, talk about Certivium, and see how she feels about being a first-time entrepreneur.
We've launched a whole new coaching program aimed at helping small business owners accelerate their revenue. This one-on-one, well, technically two, coaching is built around your schedule and your goals and will help keep you on track to make your business a success. There are no strings attached, no long commitments, and at $600 a month, it's priced perfectly for any small business owner. If you're struggling to find time to grow yourself and your business, or you want to find ways to improve your financial situation, head on over to sbpace.com/small-business-coaching to sign up.
All right, welcome back to the show. Hey, Stacy, thanks for joining us.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Yeah, we are looking forward to this conversation because it's really all about us. We like to talk about us.
Yes, all three of us.
Exactly. All right, so, we haven't really talked too much about Certivium on BizQuik. Why don't you tell the listeners what it is?
Well, we are currently offering a couple different types of services. One is our customer engagement, and the other is our social media management.
Excellent. And so those two services, they're designed for small business owners.
Correct. We're looking at business owners, entrepreneurs from the first 3 years of their business.
And at a place where they can't afford to hire somebody, but they know that they need to do something. So, and our goal is to make sure that we get fired at some point when they get large enough that they can't. There's no sense to have us anymore.
Correct. That's our biggest goal.
Well, yeah, we do like to get ourselves fired always from every client, because that means that they've reached independence and can do things on their own. So let's talk a little bit about this transition for you, right? So this is your first time really not only being an entrepreneur, but you dove right into being a business owner and launching a business with services that are high demand, but really, really important for small business owners because it's their customer facing. So what's that been like for you?
I've definitely had to think outside the box. We've had to get very creative and think of how we're going to actually offer these services, and that people are going to want them and need them. We know they need them, but how they're going to want them.
And that's a tough thing to sell is the people, especially with small business owners who are always trying to save a dollar, is this is something you need, you should probably want as well, but convincing them to actually pay for it is a tough it's a tough sell sometimes.
Yeah.
It can
Definitely.
be. Yeah, it can be. And I think, right now for the people that we have that are signed up for the services, I was thinking about this earlier today. Something that they pretty much all have in common is that they are solopreneurs that are not, they wouldn't really be of the generation that are really, really well versed in social media, right? Where they're, not really.
Just say it.
They're older. We can just say they're not tech savvy. And quite frankly, like when I first, we thought of bringing this service on, I was like, I don't know if I can do it. I mean, I scroll through Facebook and Instagram, but I didn't really do a ton of posting or anything on the back end. And some of the things that people posted, I was like, how did they do that? So it's been fun learning those tools also.
Yeah. It's been, and you've done a great job with that. I will say I watched you, practice in some groups where I'm working on engagement, or I'm working on, figuring out how to post different types of things, whether it be long form text or short form or videos or images or whatever. And, if it makes you feel, I don't even think I told Corey this, but I know I shared it with you. Yesterday, got a couple of people that texted me to tell me that they were really loving our Instagram posts this week. And I'm like, oh, that's nice. Or not Instagram, LinkedIn. I'm sorry, LinkedIn. Yeah. So good job there.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, and one thing that I do appreciate about the two of y'all, this is me showing gratitude, Joy, is that I don't have to do much of anything with this business. So I appreciate that.
Oh, with Certivium?
Yes.
Well, yes. That is that. Well, I mean, you do enough with it though.
Yeah, but I don't social media, none of that stuff is my strong suit, and so it's like, hey, we need this tool. Cool, here you go.
Yeah.
See you later.
Exactly. Stacy, I want to ask you a question about sort of this concept of, and I'm sure this is the moment where Corey gets really quiet. I want to ask you a question about the concept of courage borrowed, right? Did I say it right?
You said it backwards.
Borrowed courage?
There you go.
Borrowed courage. Yeah, I said it backwards. I'm sorry. And we're not going to cut that out. We're going to let our listeners see that I'm a real person who makes real mistakes every day. Right, Corey?
Yes.
But anyway, borrowed courage. So you're starting something and you've never done it before and you're really unsure if you can. And so you're a little bit dependent on other people giving you the courage to do it. Right? Saying, oh, you've got this. Yeah, you can totally do this. Or, one of the things that you started with was Cabo's, with Corey's New Restaurants, social media, right? So you have been, that was the first account that you took on, right?
Yep.
And started doing the posting there. And then you've also now taken on SB Paces, and we've got a couple of other ones where you're like, you could mess it up, but you really can't mess it up, right? So sort of that courage to just go ahead and do it when maybe it wasn't there initially.
Yeah, that's definitely a real thing. I can say like my first few postings, even for SB Pace, I was like, hey, take a look at this. What do you think? It's nice to hear the feedback. But I'm also the person that I don't need to be handheld. So I just need that first couple, like, yep, looks good. You're doing great. And then I can run with it. But I definitely think that it's a real thing. Borrowed courage.
I'm gonna be the devil's advocate here.
Oh dear.
The
devil doesn't need an advocate,
Sure
Corey.
he does. Borrowed courage sounds quite a lot like motivation or encouragement. Why do we need a new word for this?
It's cool.
I don't
Trendy.
Yeah, well, you know me, I'm trendy. Mm-hmm. I don't No, I don't think it's the same as motivation. What was the other thing you said?
Encouragement?
Well, encouragement may be the same as, but different.
Hey, Julie, let's do a little role play. You're nervous about doing something. Just, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Hey, you got this.
That's borrowed courage.
Or
Corey.
encouragement or motivation.
Well,
Why do we need a new word?
Don't you think motivation is internal?
You
Like
can
it's your own, right? Like you can't motivate me.
What does a personal trainer do? Or like an army sergeant? They fucking motivate.
I don't think an army sergeant motivates. I think an army sergeant is
Demands.
Yeah, he's mean.
But you get it done, right?
That's not motivation.
Sure it
though.
is.
I think so. I don't. Why can't we have a new word?
There's no reason for it. It's like using overwhelm as a noun. I'm putting my foot down on
And
this.
I see it everywhere now.
I hate it.
I know.
Anyway, sorry to
that's
derail
okay.
the conversation.
That's okay. All right. So anyway, Stacy, then I guess let's just call it encouragement. I think it's different though. I do think it's different, but finding the I want to say courage, like to try something new, right? So, I mean, Corey and I were over a year in when we said, let's start this new business. And, you were the first person we thought of that were like, she'd be great at it and great to have as a partner. And thankfully you were all in on it. And we're like, yeah, let's do it. Let's try it out and let's see how it goes. So that's been great. Where do you see Certivium going?
Honestly, I really think that once the, name gets out there and the word gets out there and people hear about us, that they're going to be a part of it. They're going to want to have us help them. I think our pricing is great, and we're offering services that they don't want to do or they don't know how to do, and they don't have the time to learn to do it. So it's going to be an investment for them.
And what do you think about the facts? We've got the two services, the customer engagement and the social media management. And so far, the social media management has been the most popular, which often happens is you start off with one thing and then you find out that that's not really what people want or need. That's something else. So what do you think about the services and the direction that's going to go in terms of, what people want or should need or want?
Well, I guess it kind of just depends on their company. When we started Certivium and we looked at the customer engagement, it was, we were working with a solopreneur and they needed that help.
Yeah, sort of the backstory on Certivium is that we were getting feedback from people that this was a service that they wanted and needed. And it's an area that, a lot of solopreneurs, smaller companies were struggling with. And one of the differentiators that we have for our customer engagement model with Certivium is that we offer the commenting and managing of, unhappy customers or questions on social media. Most people don't do that, right? So we take that and we're like, we'll handle your customers that are angry because their package got lost or something arrived broken or they got the wrong thing or whatever it is, and we'll deal with that. So on the back end, there's a lot of, we have systems and processes in place, but we make it easier for our clients on the front end to not have to deal with the angry customers. And that's a very unique service. And that was one that we had a number of people tell us was really, really missing in the market.
Accurate. So
thank you.
Yes. Well, the question that or the thing that I was thinking about while you were talking about that was do you think that people are more unwilling to give up customer engagement because they don't want to give up that contact with their customers, their actual customers, versus their social media audience is kind of this gray area of people that I know it's important, but you don't have to hit a home run every time.
That's a great question. I think maybe if people are thinking they don't want somebody to steal their customers, is that what you're thinking?
No, if I would have a hard time outsourcing my customer service for anything, because like I want to deal with my customers, people who have given me money. But my audience, yes, and there's a chance that most of them have given me money at some point, but it's not like those interactions aren't directly related to a transaction. It's just hey, how you doing? Here's some social media versus I need to fix this problem right now.
Interesting. What do you think, Stacy?
Yeah, I can see people not wanting to, move away from the social media piece of it or the customer engagement piece of it, because they want to stay connected to their customers. They want to know what their customers want and they need and all those things. But that's something we've kind of also built into is, the frequently asked questions that we're offering to build for our clients.
Right. And also one of the things that we do, especially on the customer engagement side, is we can, help the small business owner or the entrepreneur understand what trends are happening. If there's specific requests or asks that their customers have, like, hey, people really would love to see this product, or they would love to see this, or they want to know when you're going to offer this again, or whatever it is. And that really helps the, the small business owner just to make some decisions about future products and or services that they're going to offer up.
That unbiased opinion or unbiased approach to the business, I think is a very critical piece of it, because it's something where you're not like, we're not going to put emotion into the numbers that we're creating. We don't, it doesn't really matter one way or the other of the trends they're doing. It's just, we're just reporting facts. We're just a messenger in terms of here's what we're witnessing with your products, your services, your whatever it is. And then the other thing is just lost my train of thought. But but the FAQ, the questions, the automation, getting rid of that non-value add, like, where's my order? How do I find this? It's that stuff that we can answer, that Stacy gets to do the boring, repetitive stuff, but the stuff that the business owner shouldn't be doing. They shouldn't be the one who's answering these just repetitive questions. And then it gets to a point where here's something that you should probably do with your website. Yeah. You should include this FAQ on here, or include this copy on the checkout page, because this is a question that we're getting asked often, and we can just eliminate the confusion. And I think that's one of the main benefits there, is that it helps streamline the process for the business owner and for the customer.
Definitely.
Yeah, I agree. I also was thinking about the how we get to have fun, like with some of our clients, right? So we have one of our customers for the customer engagement piece. He he told us that we are allowed to troll his users if they troll, or if they have negative feedback or whatever, that we can troll back, because that's kind of the voice of his brand. So we really take the time, whether it be on customer engagement or on the social media management, to learn the brand and then to speak in that voice. So how challenging has that been for you, Stacy, to learn the voice of the brands?
It really kind of depended on the client that we have. If it's kind of resonated with me, it's been a lot easier. If it's not something that I've ever, been a part of, it was a little more challenging. I feel like I did a good job though. So, and they were good.
Yeah, you're definitely doing a great job with it.
For some of the more challenging clients that we've had, did you do any kind of research? Did you immerse yourself in their business and their culture to figure out how, the tone of voice, how you're supposed to speak?
I just kind of trolled their page, their personal page, not just their business page, and kind of just took in the feedback that they were putting out there, and their group of people, their network, their friends, their family were putting out there, and kind of just blended in.
Yeah.
Kind of like, it's almost like acting or improv or whatever, where, which I would feel kind of like a goon. I'm like, I'm a total fraud. This isn't what I sound like.
Well,
no, I don't feel like a fraud, because I'm invested in helping them build their company. So to me, I'm helping them. You find it boring work, and me, I'm helping them. I'm supporting them along their journey.
Nice. So Before we start to wrap up here in the next couple of minutes, what has been the most surprising thing to you about launching a new business?
Oh boy. It's really just been thinking outside the box. It's not been easy. It's been challenging, and we've had to make change after change after change. I know how much Corey loves that, like the website he was talking about earlier. So it's been a challenge, but it's been good. Keeps me thinking, keeps me on my toes.
Yeah. And what have you liked most about it so far?
Surprisingly, the creative piece of it, the building of the assets. So, and I've never found myself artsy. That's been my siblings, and here I am doing artwork. I feel like just in a different form.
Nice. I love it. I didn't know that, so that's a surprising answer.
Great. Well, we are going to start wrapping up. So before we go, Stacy, can you tell everybody how they can find out about Certivium?
Well, you can find us on our website. We also have a LinkedIn and Instagram page.
Fantastic. And I'm pretty sure I know the answer to this, but is there anything that we can do for you?
Just continue to support the journey of Certivium and come up with ideas to help and support me, support the clients.
Fantastic. That we can do. So thank you, Corey's face. Do you want to say something?
I feel like I need to draw a map to figure out who's supporting what and when. But
We're all supporting each other.
okay.
Group
Thank
hug.
you.
Group hug. Exactly. Well, Stacy, thanks for joining us and for taking the time to tell our listeners all about Certivium and the wonderful services that we offer there. It's exciting stuff. Thanks to our listeners for tuning in, and everything you need to know about not only Certivium but SB Pace is in the show notes.
Connect with us on social media. We've got LinkedIn, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, and a YouTube channel. And if you want to work with us, find out anything about us, or just connect with us in general via email or a contact form if you're so inclined, head on over to sbpace.com.
Yeah, and you should download and rate our podcast. We love to be judged, and so please go judge us. Subscribe and give us a written review if you're really feeling generous. That would be so helpful, and you can reach out about any topics on our website.
Don't forget to purchase our book, Seriously Now What? A Small Business Guide to Disaster Preparedness. We have a digital workbook download available on the website. It is a #1 Amazon bestseller, and if you've already purchased it, please go back out to Amazon, rate and review it if you already haven't done so.
And I just want to make sure everyone's clear. It's the book itself that's the #1 bestseller, not the digital download.
Yes.
Yes.
'Cause
All
that's
right.
free.
Exactly. I'm Julie.
And I'm Corey.
And this was BizQuik, and we are helping small businesses across America.